Alright everyone, welcome back to another episode on the Mindcrack server. We are back at it. Hoping to finish this barn within the next 2 episodes, hopefully. But I think we're getting there. I'm gonna finish the roof today. Well, we definitely won't be finishing in the next 2 days, because I have lots of plans for the inside of it, but at least the outline of it will be done within the next 2 days. So what they told me was to round out the what I've been told was to round out the roof a bit. So the issue is I want a like a window here. So I wonder if I just from here connect it. I wonder how bad that would look. So let's actually try that right off the bat here. Let's just try and flattening the entire roof, the rest of the roof. Let's see what that looks like. A couple people on. Pack Rat was on earlier, so it was a pretty full server, the fullest I've seen it so far. So I think I'm single-handedly bringing Mindcrack back. Everyone's coming back because of me. Let's see what that should I fill it in, you think, and then get a better view of what it looks like. I want the trim to be there as well. I should put torches up here as well, so I don't get mobs spawning. So earlier I was trying to, since everybody's online, there wasn't any time for like nobody wanted to, I didn't want to like ask him to sleep, so I just dealt with the night. And the new zombie mechanics are crazy. Like, it's insane how much like the range that they have. They started following me, and there was about 30 zombies around me, so I lit up the area a bit more. Let's see here. Let's see if this is too much white. It might be too much white. It might not be enough white. We'll see. And then we'll do a strip of red here. I mean, that seems like it'll be fine. Recall this. Let's see here. You know, I kind of like that. I should bring out... I'm contemplating whether or not to keep this pattern here. Oh, I completely... like, put stairs underneath the stairs to see if, like... A lot of people do that. I think that's a fine design. So we'll try that as well to give it more, like, thickness instead of just having it the way it is. What's the best way to do this? Just go here again. Oops. So I'm gonna tell you about a story. I'm gonna talk about vacations I go on. I haven't gone on vacation in forever. I think the last time that we went somewhere like major was God, probably Disney World like 4 years ago. It's been so long. So like ever since I went to college, it's just like there's just not enough time to take vacations anywhere. We do go to Adventureland, which is like a nearby amusement park here. That's like a family thing that we do every year. It's just like a tradition that everybody gets together and we all go. Recently I've been going by myself. Like we not by myself, but like bringing friends with and stuff. Normally it's just a family thing once a year, but since we moved closer, I can just drive there and it's not that big of a deal. And we get like I'd get season tickets just because it's so cheap. Because I like hanging out at the pool. There's a pool that you can go to, and it's just like, it's so cheap, right? I mean, you go like 10 times and you've already like paid, you got your money's worth. And then you can take friends, like if you get like 2 of them, or even just like not having to pay, right? It's great. I don't want to hit this guy because I know the second I hit this guy, bad things are going to start happening. We're going to do it anyway. Because he's stealing my blocks. I can't be having that. Now all the zombies are going to come out of the woodworks. I like that. I think that's cool. I think that looks good, actually. So then we're going to put a window there, a giant glass window. I should stop jumping down like I do so that it doesn't take forever to make these. But yeah, the last trip that I went on was, it was definitely Disney World, I believe. Like a major trip where we flew. I did go to a journalism conference out in Austin, Texas. That was, hi guys. I enjoyed that. That was a fun trip because that's like it was for college, so all my like literally every single one of my friends was there at the trip. It was just that was a good time. One of my first trips though, it was to Oregon, and oh, we got a little baby. Hi guy. So yeah, the first trip was to like that was the first time I ever flown on an airplane, and let me tell you, flying like ever since like I've loved flying, but the day that I flew to Oregon was probably the worst day of my life. So it turned out to be one of the worst nights of my life. So the night before we were obviously at a hotel, and so the hotel, it was one of those things where it was, I'm definitely going to need a lot more wood for this roof if it's going to be this tall. So there was a pool at the hotel, and so we went swimming the night before, and I got water stuck in my ear. And we went on the plane the next day. And so an issue that I came across was, where's this man at? I hear you. Are you below me? There you are. When you go on an airplane, you get high up, you get your pressure starts messing with you. And I had water stuck in my ear, and I didn't get rid of it the night before. And so I had this water in my ear, and as the water or the pressure changed, I don't know how physics works. I don't know what happened, but I definitely know that water and pressure in your ear, it doesn't end well. And so I ended up with like the worst ear infection, like the worst earache I've ever had in my life. I was throwing up because of it. Like, it was so bad that I was throwing up, and I was like, basically, I think the trip was like a 7-day trip to Oregon, and I'm pretty sure 6 of those days I was in the bed, just like incapacitated. Just it was the worst trip. Like, it was fun for everybody else, which made me sad because I was just like, I think I was probably like 8 or 9 at the time, probably younger actually, like 7. Because this is when my parents were still together, so that was definitely before I was 10. So yeah, that was a long time ago. So yeah, this earache just like it made like I was just incapacitated for the entire trip, and didn't get to experience anything. Like they went out because like my uncle had, like, the reason that we went out there was because my uncle lived out there for a few years, and he had like a cabin out on is it Mount St. Helen? I think that's the mountain. I'm pretty sure that's mountain. And so they all went like 4-wheeling out on the mountain and stuff. It's like I did not get to experience any of it, and then like the one day that I was like good to go was we went up to the beach, and it was just raining. It was cloudy, cold. Like, it was the worst beach. It was the first time I've ever been to a beach before. And Oregon beaches, they're not well known for being like the most like the sand isn't the softest thing in the world. And it was a really bad experience. And so ever since then, though, like I've had permanent ear damage because of what had happened that day. So, it was not the greatest trip in the world, and to be like the first like major trip I ever went on, it was kind of a bummer. But ever since then, though, I love flying. Like, flying is the greatest thing in the world. I just love, like, most people don't say this, but I love airports. Like, airports are like, it's just great. I don't know. It's weird. Because I used to be super stressed about, like, airports. Airports used to be the most stressful thing in the world to me. Because I hate time. Time is the worst. So, for me, time is always, like, I'm always stressed about time, even when I'm not like in control. So like, even though I was 8 years old, I still was like freaking out about like missing the flight, even though it wasn't my responsibility to be worrying about it. Shoot. And so I've just always been like super anxious about going to airports, because it's just like I always feel like I'm the only one worrying about time. And so like in that, it's just like even if I'm there like 3 hours early, like even if I'm like standing in front of the door to the airplane and I'm like 3 hours early, I'd still be stressed. Like, it's such a weird concept, but I've always had that like feeling of just like, oh man, what if I miss this flight even though I'm there? It's just like, it doesn't make sense. So but I've gotten over that, and so ever since then it's just like flying is the greatest, because I just like sit in the airport, hang out. You get to experience so many cool things. Like, there's some really cool airports out there. And so I'm surprised I didn't take that much damage. But I remember, so when my stepdad and my mom got married, we went out to, the wedding was in Jamaica, and the Jamaica trip was amazing. That was amazing. But the main story out of that was when we were coming home. I wasn't with my parents. Like, my parents were on their honeymoon, so they sent us home with our grandparents. And I don't like these grandparents. As a kid, I did not like them at all, and they scared me. And they were just like super old, and they like, it wasn't that they were mean or strict or anything, but they're just, to me, that they're like old just signified like I didn't want to be around them. And so just everything about them, just, I hated the trip. And so they sent me with my grandparents, and on our way back, they somehow screwed up our tickets, and we didn't have a spot on the plane anymore because they sold our ticket. And for me, like, with my grandparents, who don't really, they're not the most technical people in the world. And so they stressed me out just by, oh my goodness. They just stressed me out just like looking at, just like being around them, because it's just like they don't know what's happening. Like, one of them's blind, one of them is deaf, so it's just like this weird combination of like, they try to communicate, like they try to be like each other's like eyes and ears, basically, like literally. And so just everything about that situation stressed me out, because it's just like they don't know what's happening, and I'm not in control in the situation, and I have no way to resolve the situation, because I was probably like 12, 13 at the time. And so they ended up getting us a ticket. Like, the airplane gave us like first class seats, which was great. But then, like, once we get through security, we couldn't get through because something with their passports was wrong, because we were coming from Jamaica. So for whatever reason, something happened, and we couldn't get through security. And I was so stressed about missing our flight. And it was just, and then at one point we had the baggage, we were going through, and apparently the baggage weighed too much, and so she had to like take clothes out and just leave them at the airport, because she had like brought so many, like, she bought so many things in Jamaica that she couldn't take everything with her, and so she just ended up like leaving a pair of shoes. She left like a bunch of clothes there at the airport, and that was so stressful to me. And then on top of that, me being like school was very important to me, and so homework deadlines were also very stressful at this time, because I missed a whole week of class, even though it was only in like 4th grade or 5th grade. The homework really didn't matter. I wish, like, looking back on it, like, I wish I knew how little it meant. But at the time, like, I had this whole week of class, like, I missed a whole week of class. All the homework that I was given, I had my backpack with me, and I didn't do any of the homework when I was in Jamaica, Because, I mean, why would you ever do homework in Jamaica? What did I do here? Yeah, okay, I guess I didn't finish deleting, getting rid of all of it. And so, on the way back on the last flight, I tried to do all the homework. Like, I ended up doing all the homework. Like, it was a huge reading assignment. Like, I had to read, like, a full book, basically, because you're supposed to be, like, when you're in these English classes, you typically read a certain amount of pages a night. And so, since I didn't, I had to read, like, 200 pages. And this was before I liked reading. So, this was, like, the most stressful thing in the world, because I was a very slow reader. Just a really stressful moment for me, even though it really shouldn't have been, because even if I didn't get it done, it's not like it's the end of the world or something. So anyway, I ended up finishing this book. We get out the plane. One of my mom's friends picks us up from the airport, and she drives us to my dad's house. Well, I get to my dad's house, and my dad is fucking drunk he's plastered on the couch. He wasn't taking the divorce easily. It's been like 3 years at this point, and he's just drunk off his ass on the couch. And we get home, and he's just slurring his words. He's just like, "Oh, you guys are back, great." And then I realize that I forgot my backpack somewhere. I don't know where it was at, and I'm just like, Dad, I forgot my backpack somewhere. And he's just like didn't know how to handle the situation. He's like, "Oh, it'll be all right." I'm like, "No, I have a week's worth of homework in there. It's the end of the world." So I start freaking out, have a panic attack, just stressing. And I end up like going over to my mom's friend's house, who it ended up being in the back of her truck or her car. So trips in general are not they're very stressful for me, and that was just one example of my very stressed self in those stressful not stressful situations, but making them out to be very stressful for whatever reason. I gotta delete this again too. Oh, some block lag. See here. And of course it's nighttime, so I can't go get more wood. Let's just finish up placing these blocks. What blocks we have left. We'll worry about the stairs later. I think this is coming together real well. The inside is going to be pretty spacious, I think. It's going to be very spacious. I probably could have made it like 5 blocks shorter. You know what? I need to light this top area up as well while I'm up here before I forget. One of the other experience, I went to New York. It was like a New York, DC, Philadelphia trip that I got to go on. That was a good trip too. But one of the standout moments was we were going to Ellis Island, and we were on a boat with a bunch of New Yorkers. And they were asking us questions about like, "Oh, what are you guys here for?" And the question came up like, "Where are you guys from?" And it's just like, "Oh, we're from South Dakota." And they're just like, "Oh, so you guys are Indians?" It's just like we're all like a bunch of pale white kids, and they're just like, "Oh, so you guys are just a bunch of Indians?" I'm like, no, that's not how this works at all. And they're just like, you guys still ride like horses around? You guys have cars there? I'm like, what? Where do you think we live? Like, what year do you think we're from? Do you think we're from the past? Like, what? I never, like, as a 15-year-old kid, I didn't realize, I've never been outside of South Dakota, hardly ever, up till this point. I'm just, like, never experienced this in my life. Being asked if I was an Indian, I'm just like, no, No, not really. I mean, technically, I'm part Indian. Like, it's very minimal, like 1/32 of an Indian, not Indian at all. Native American or whatever. Um, and so it's just this strange experience where we're just like on this boat, we're all kind of just like staring at him, like, what? And they were so confused. They're just like, well, aren't you guys all Native Americans in South Dakota? I'm like, no. Do you guys still hunt buffalo? I'm like, no. How do you guys eat? Grocery stores? Like, all these questions were just so foreign to me. I'm just like, do people actually think this? Like, I thought I was being trolled, right? Like, this is some next tier, this is next level stuff right here. But no, they were serious, and it was one of the strangest moments I've ever, like, I mean, I guess it was a good experience to have. Like, I finally got out in the world and realized people don't actually know what South Dakota is for whatever reason. Like, how do you, like, where does that come from even? Like, it still baffles me. Like, I just don't understand how that could ever become a misconception, right? It's just like, I don't get it. But I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to grab enough wood next time to finish the... Actually, I might finish the roof off camera. Just to finish it, and then we can start designing the inside, just so this build doesn't take forever. And I don't run out of stories within the next 2 episodes. Next week, we'll talk about Iowa and the misconceptions of Iowa. So stay tuned. But until next time, see ya.